Okay.
Okay, so today it's Gary Fish from Seaview Mortgage, and we also have Candace, a wonderful realtor. So, Candace, introduce yourself for everybody, please.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Candace Sparks. I'm with Next Home Forest Premier Realty, the office is located in Howell, New Jersey, and I serve Monmouth, Ocean, and Middlesex counties. And I'm just happy to join you.
Wow, good to hear you. Good to see you always. And not only are you a realtor, but in your past life, you also have experience as being I don't know if it's really first-time buyer coach, but a mentor and educator. And give us a little information on that real quick, if you can, like some of your background with your experience, not only in real estate, but that as well.
Yeah, so for about 10 years, I lived in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And there was a nonprofit there that I worked with, just to share what I knew about real estate. And they offered a first time home buyers program, which a lot of places do, a lot of counties do, including here in New Jersey. It's all federal funds. And part of, qualifying for the funds, among other things, was taking this class. And so, since I was licensed in New Jersey, but I was not licensed in Pennsylvania, I was able to teach the class and, really just give them the real information without worrying about, oh, they're going to be my client or will they like me, because I wasn't licensed in Pennsylvania. So actually, it was kind of nice. So I could bring in lenders, I brought in home inspectors, I brought in other realtors to educate people not only on the process, but how to best maintain the value of their home, what to look for when they're looking for a home. Again, working with the lender. So, not just the lender coming in and saying, here are all the things that we work with, but also, from a realtor's perspective, how do you work with your lender to make that relationship work? So, and understanding your role, the buyer's role in that process. What are you responsible for? What do you need to step up to the plate and be prepared to do? Understand that this is a complicated process and it's like no other that you will ever experience.
Okay,
But that's just how it is,
that's
and
right.
just being prepared to go down that road. And most of my students, the ones that came back, I had several come back and was like, "Oh, thank you. We would have never gotten through this." So I didn't walk them through it some people weren't ready for 2 years, some people weren't ready for a year, but that's okay. The nonprofit that I was working with worked with them to get them ready. Going over their credit reports, resolving any landlord tenant issues that they may have had, things of that nature. So I thoroughly enjoyed that. I was first licensed in New Jersey back in 2004. And again, I spent about 10 years in Pennsylvania. So I was on a long hiatus. And when I returned in 2016, I believe it was, is kind of when I got back in the game here in New Jersey. And I've been at it ever since. So all over the place as far as, people want to buy houses everywhere.
Well, the good news is here in New Jersey, I think the spring market has started early. It started getting
Mhm.
really pretty active in late December, and January was definitely a lot of buyers were out there. So, with the buyers that you're dealing with right now and people looking to sell their home, what are you hearing from them right now?
They're definitely concerned about the interest rates. They're taking a little bit more time to make a decision, and that, at least the buyers that I've worked with, a lot of them, then they may see a house that they like, but they want to sit down, they want to think about it. I always encourage them to have a conversation with their lender if they're not paying, if they're financing, just to make sure that they know what the numbers are going to be and they're comfortable with that. So they're taking a little bit longer to decide, even though many of these homes are still seeing multiple offers. We're not at 10, 20 offers like we were in the middle of the pandemic, but I am still seeing two, three offers on a property. But many of them are, they just have their max. They just can't go over it. And
Well,
I'm
that's
finding,
unfortunate. You know,
yeah, but I'm also finding that some of these buyers are, even if they could stretch, they're not really willing to stretch.
Well, that
because
decision has
the,
to be made. Yes,
yeah, yeah. So maybe they could, pull some money here or there, or take it a little bit higher, but there's a lot of concern about the long term. And also with the prices being high, there's a lot of concern about, if they want to go sell it in 5 years or 10 years, are they going to be able to make money on it? So there is all of that conversation is happening, but it's not stopping them from making a purchase. It's just understanding that that's where the market is. And if you want to wait it out, fine. But how long is that going to be? And some of these buyers that I'm working with now have been waiting it out and they just don't want to wait any longer. So it really just depends on the buyer and their particular circumstance, but they are a bit more careful, in my opinion.
the recent report that came out just at the end of January by the New Jersey Real Estate Association said that last year, single family homes did appreciate 9.6 on average, which means the prices went up 9.6% higher than they were the
Mhm,
previous year. Condos went up 12.4%. So this
mhm,
year, we are anticipating, with the information that's out there from the various sources, that home values are going to continue to rise. They're
mhm,
not going to go down. I know a lot of folks are thinking and hoping, and really it's more about hope than it is about really having a clear thought process on there. They're hoping interest rates are going to come down. But even if they do come down, and at some point they might come down a little bit might be 6%. Um, but at the same rate that homes are appreciating, I don't know that you're going to ever catch up with the appreciation that homes are going to continue to rise with a little bit that interest rates may come down. So that's really an important
mhm,
discussion they need to have and actually see real figures laid out. As you mentioned, a number of people have been sitting on the fence for one reason or another, only to find out that, that house that they could have bought 2 years ago is now $100,000 more than it was 2 years ago. So whether the interest rates drop to 2% or 1%, they're not going to be able to afford that home if they couldn't afford it when it was $100,000 cheaper in the past. So education is going to be a key importance of helping buyers make that decision, and sellers making that decision as well, because everybody seems to be on the fence a little bit one way or the other. So what are your
mhm.
thoughts on that?
No, I would agree with you 100%. Buyers and sellers are very much fixated on interest rates. It's sort of like gas prices. We see them all the time, but what we don't see all the time is the house down the street, what its value might be. Right. There's nothing publishing that, there's no news on it. We talk about home prices going up 9%, but what does that really mean? And so you don't see the prices of every home, last year versus this year. You got to do a little bit of research for that. But interest rates are just out there, right? We see them in the news. The Federal Reserve is raising interest rate, lowering interest rates, the 10-year bond yield. We hear about this stuff all the time if you watch any of the investment shows or just casually, keeping up with it. So it's kind of like gas prices, it's in your face all the time. So the concern is around interest rates. And like you said, if the home price has gone up $100,000 and you couldn't afford it when interest rates were at 4%, you're not going to be able to afford it now. And even if they go back down to 4%, you're still not going to be able to afford it because now the value is up 175,000.
Right.
So, so yes, it has to be. You have to look at the whole picture and not just interest rates. What I am having conversations with buyers about is, well, listen, if you really want to buy, go ahead and buy. You can always refinance later on if interest rates do come down, because
Absolutely.
then you can really take advantage of it. So whether that's in a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever, when those interest rates do come down, you can always refinance. So some of them are coming around and going, yeah, you're right, because home prices aren't leveling off. The thought was with interest rates rising, some of these home prices would level off, and they're just not. The demand is just too great.
Right. If
And
anything, it fueled the fire for more people to buy, and we have a lot of cash buyers out there that are willing to buy them because they are
yeah.
thinking ahead. realizing that there is not enough supply and the supply is not going to be met, predicted, let's say it's predicted that it will take at least another 10 years for the housing to be created to meet the demand that we have now.
And I
So,
would argue that I don't think it's going to ever be met simply because unless we change zoning laws in a lot of these communities, the kinds of homes that will be necessary to really house more people just simply won't be built.
well,
And that's, you know, that's for another discussion. That's a whole different ball game. But I would argue that in some of these communities, the types of homes needed just won't be built. So, and home builders have been having this struggle, depending on what kind of home you build. You know, it's been a struggle for decades, and it will continue to be.
well, I want to encourage everybody listening to this that they can reach out to us at any time. We'll have information to answer their questions, whether it be a market analysis that they can get
Mhm.
from Candace or an appraisal report that I can offer them. What are the homes selling for in their neighborhood and how much have they appreciated over the last so many years? So information is available. We both are more than willing to supply that information, so don't hesitate to reach out to us. So Candace, give us some closing words and we're going to get going.
Hey, if you need to buy, now is the time to buy. It's not about the market, it's about your need. So if now is the time and you have a need, then let's have a conversation. I'm happy to show you properties that will meet your need. I can be easily reached at 732-637-9026. You can always look me up and I'm happy to assist whenever I can.
Well, great. Have a great day as always. And everybody, you do the same. Take care. Bye.